A major heat dome is finally going to break down over the course of the next few days. It's been sitting over the Midwest, and eventually it is going to fall apart as we head into this weekend. It will be replaced by cooler air, but that front will bring storms and move these tropical storms that you can see developing on your screen accordingly. So I'll have all the information on that in this video. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let's get into our first graphic of the day, and that is high temperatures of 100 plus ranging from Texas to Missouri, as well as into Tennessee on Friday. You can see those triple-digit readings really sitting all the way from the Gulf Coast all the way on up into portions of Kansas, Missouri, the Arklatex region seeing this intense heat, but the heat index is even higher here. This intense heat has resulted in widespread alerts to get issued from the Gulf to the Midwest, and notice there's not a lot of orange on here, which would be a heat advisory. This is extreme heat. This is excessive heat warnings in the pink. Also, that lighter pink color there going into portions of Mississippi as well as northern Louisiana indicates some red flag warnings for fire danger in those areas. Now, in terms of your Saturday temperature departures, you can see 5 to 10 degrees below average north of that front coming into portions of the upper Midwest. Will be a good few to even 10 degrees above average there into portions of the Mid-South as well as the Southeast. Here's that front moving on down out of the Great Lakes region. This is kind of front number one because we're going to have a second one that's actually going to have to eventually move this out of here. But nonetheless, bringing a chance for storms all the way from the front range there in eastern Colorado all the way on over into the Northeast. By the way, this front has helped spawn this Thursday severe weather risk as I'm speaking for us here on August 24th. Now, by the time we hit Monday, this front will be bringing necessary rain to Texas with a chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms there. I'm not necessarily saying that this is going to bring several inches of rain, but we could certainly see maybe an inch or two come out of some of these showers and storms, though again, that looks to be at the higher end of the deal for us here. But hey, any rain is rain for that area, right? We need it. Now, in terms of a new low-pressure system developing in the Great Lakes, this is going to be the one that's going to finally usher the front away as we head towards midweek. You can see some of those storms continuing along the East Coast, but that area of low pressure swirling some of the rain back into the Great Lakes region at that time will be a pretty strong one, and that's going to be enough, and it's going to be quick moving. It's going to push that front out of here. But what's interesting about this is the timing of that front will bring a problem for us here depending on where it is. And the main problem with this picture is that you can see a tropical storm or maybe even hurricane developing in the eastern Gulf. So let's go ahead and talk about exactly what the latest details with that system are at this time. Now, a 60% chance of a new tropical storm is now present moving into portions of the far northwestern Caribbean, really into the Gulf of Mexico for us here is when this is expected to develop. This system is really going to be threading the needle there from portions of the eastern tip of Mexico for us there in the Cancun region all the way to the western tip of Cuba. So it's going to be trying to slide right between those areas. The energy we need to watch is currently just kind of some broken showers and storms that are forming a widespread fashion for us here of a mess right along the southern areas of Mexico for us there all the way on down towards Central America as well. By Saturday, August 26th, a depression may be getting itself together for us there, again, right off the tip of Mexico, right in that Cancun area, bringing some very heavy rainfall and the potential for some flooding to those regions as well as western Cuba this weekend. So remember, this is a pretty imminent threat for us here, already beginning to develop over the course of the next couple of days. By the time we get to Monday morning, a storm may be sitting right off of Cancun. Look at that. You can see some of those pinks developing. This is really energizing the atmosphere for us here. This is showing some wind energy with the European model. The model was on and off with this. That's what I talked about in my last video, but now it is really just holding steady with the chance of a storm developing here in the southern and eastern Gulf. And notice how this really strengthens after passing Cuba. This is as we head towards your August 29th on the European model. So as we're heading towards our Tuesday of next week, this storm will be accelerating, beginning to pick up the pace as it moves northeastward and bringing the chance for some tropical impacts to start moving into Florida as early as Tuesday of next week. So keep that in mind. The Keys could be impacted with this as well. This is when front timing really begins to come into play because you can see that area, that band of moisture moving into the western Gulf as well as portions of the southeast region. The faster that front gets here, could help in keeping the system really towards far southern Florida and maybe heading off towards the Bahamas. But right now, the way these models are playing this out, this would have it kind of edge into portions of the crook of Florida for us there and moving right along the coastline of Georgia and then South Carolina and into the North Carolina coastline as well. A hurricane may indeed bear down on Florida midweek, so this is something that you need to be prepared for. This is something that we can handle there in Florida if the preparations are done correctly. So make sure you have sandbags ready, things that you might need. You could go ahead and purchase them. The worst that happens, you don't need them, and you need them for the next storm, right? So keep that in mind. Meanwhile, though, the GFS does have weaker energy hitting central Florida, but at a similar time. So the GFS and European model are in overall agreement as to when that front is going to be arriving. So really, this system would be making a landfall there into Florida some point between late Tuesday and early to mid-Thursday is what it looks right now. So that puts Wednesday kind of right in the center of that. So again, there's the rainfall from that potential storm. We could see some totals in excess of 4 to 5 inches regardless of whether the storm develops there into portions of Florida. And also notice that we cannot forget Franklin and his impacts as they continue moving northward from Hispaniola and over into portions of the western Atlantic, kind of threading the needle there between the eastern coast as well as Bermuda, but not posing a risk to the United States, just Bermuda. So a front will bring heat relief and much needed rain to millions. It's technically two fronts. Number one will stall along the east coast before being pushed away by the second one midweek. No matter what, a little rainfall should come to drought-stricken Texas and recently dry spots in the southeast. Despite isolated storminess, this will be generally beneficial for most people that get impacted by this. What will not be beneficial is a potential hurricane forming this weekend in the Gulf, as a piece of tropical energy currently located over Mexico will move northward into a very favorable development environment as we head towards the Gulf in Saturday time frame for us there. Fast development may occur as we head towards early next week, with a potential hurricane gathering itself together and heading in the Florida direction as we head towards Wednesday, August 30th. The timing and the details remain uncertain, though, due to the front and the GFS model. While the GFS model agrees on the timing, it does not agree that any sort of significant tropical system will form in the Gulf, just energy and some tropical rainfall pushing into the western coast of Florida and towards the Panhandle as well. Another thing that could shift this system's timing and direction is an incoming front that will be pushing north to south at the same time as when the system is expected to hit. So keep all of this in mind as you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And thank you so much for watching, everybody. Here are the credits. I hope everyone stays safe out there as always.